Slavic name. Well, you got a sneak peek of something that you're supposed to only see at the end of tonight, but whatever. Hi everyone, I am Simon at Wandering DM. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to our fourth season of our Cyberpunk campaign. Thank you for being patient with us while I was out for the count. Before we go in and go to the introductions of everyone and blah blah blah, I would just like to take a quick moment to thank our very own Chris Geary for everything that he did while I was away, and for keeping the channel alive and running production, inviting people, doing all of the things. So thank you very much for this, Chris. It is immensely appreciated.
No worries, no worries.
So we've been gone for a little while, and some of you might not remember who we are. So what we'll do is we'll go around the overlay. Jinx is on her way, so she'll join momentarily. But let's introduce the cast that we have at the moment. And then I'm going to rely a lot on all of you for the recap. Because I remember a few things, but I don't remember all the things, I believe. And also I'll talk about what happened to BPS after he left Night City. So, without further ado, we'll begin our introductions with the person in the top right corner of the overlay. Top left, because right, that would be me. Mr. Chris Geary.
Good evening, everyone. You know me as Chris Geary. You can find me in chat as Chris Geary. You can find me on Twitter as Chris Geary. Tonight, I will be playing Mr. White, a.k.a. Dr. Frost, the trauma team surgeon extraordinaire with, a few connections here or there.
Up next, we have Adelaide.
Yeah, I'm Adelaide Gardner, Adelaide on Twitter, and I play Reno, our solo.
And then, other column on the overlay, person at the very top, Deirdre, hi.
Oh, hello. It is wonderful to be back. I love all of you wonderful people. I missed your faces. It's nice to see you all again. And as for me, I am your friendly neighborhood Prax, and I get to play Trins, your friendly neighborhood mechanic who will make it go to 11 and or possibly blow it up in a controlled environment. Look, I had an epic, totally controlled demolition of an IEC. I'm not allowed to talk about that. But it was perfect, and nobody got hurt that wasn't supposed to get hurt intentionally. But none of us got hurt, and no civilians got hurt, so there's that.
Next, we have Hannah.
Hey, I'm Hannah, Hanimation Art on Twitter, Hanimation Studios on Instagram and Facebook, and for this game I will be playing Black Cat, the fixer who seems able to fix things for pretty much everybody but herself. She's a bit of a disaster, but we're working on it.
And last but not least, we have Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. I use he, him pronouns, and this campaign I play Menez, the rocker boy by way of professional wrestling.
So, what happened, not necessarily last session, because I'll talk about that in a moment, but while I do that, I want the players to rack their brains about what's been going on this season. And one thing that did happen last session is that the team got the visit of another edge runner who came to Night City to look for someone. A man by the name of BPS, or at least their alias, were tracking down an Inquisitor, member of a booster gang called the Inquisitors. And with the help of our crew, figured out where the Inquisitor was, took them down, and thus learned the location of their, oh god, I believe it is sister. They had a loved one. I just don't remember exactly who it was. Renegade, you can
Sure
tell me.
sounds right.
But they left Night City and would have called Reno on the cell phone to let her know that they made it safely to Atlanta, and they have a crew with them to help find this person. But that was just a sort of side venture into the events that were unfurling in Night City. Events that started with the arrival of a group of very violent nomads. What else can you tell me, dear players? Oh, come on.
What? You mean aside from the time that, like, last time the BPS drifted the RV, and then that was because, we are here to protect, Makoto. I don't know. The girl whose dad is White's bestie who was a former Arasaka and shouldn't even be on this place, but apparently she makes really good cookies and brownies, so that's pretty cool. And then she gave us this really, really nice old Arasaka place that we're gonna totally strip down, and I have apparently there's supposed to be like an actual medical facility in there that was mothballed appropriately, so we'll see what's in there.
Indeed.
Also,
Makoto...
Also, we have to we fixed White's chair, and he's been spending a lot of time fixing things that are in his head.
Well, trying to.
Yes.
But we also learned that Dog Killer is not the first Dog Killer, and Dog Killer is kind of a title.
Indeed.
But, yeah. And I believe we were in the process of drawing them out or something, so that way we can have a little bit more of an even playing field and then end this.
Yes. Because the Raffen Shiv, as they're called, were allowed into Night City. Oh, it was his fiance. Thank you, Renegade. The Raffen Shiv were allowed into Night City because of a sort of an unwritten rule or unspoken rule among the nomads, where the Aldecaldos, who are basically the major nomad clan outside of Night City, they allowed the Raffen Shiv into the city, thing that they wouldn't do normally, because of an old family feud, and they were putting an end to it. However, you discovered that the Raffen Shiv in town were not in town simply for that. And things began to unravel rather quickly. They sent a fake head, basically Jinx's uncle's head, in a box as a sort of threat. And Makoto, who was Kiyoshi's, was still his, actually, Kiyoshi's granddaughter. Right, I'm saying that as I'm looking at my notes. Yes, of course I didn't write carefully. Daughter of Kiyoshi, who used to ride with the Raffen Shiv for a little while, in sort of a more rebellious phase of her life. And basically Kiyoshi's agents in Arasaka went and fished her out of the afterlife while the party was there. And
we weren't.
You weren't there, but another party was. You arrived on the scene right after.
No, the day after. Because we saw it through the security footage in Rogue's office versus the Phoenix crew, by the way, showing for the other side, who were there at the time.
Yeah, it's just, in my mind it was the session right after, that's why. But yes, and you were invited to Kiyoshi's place outside of Night City, a sort of a old disused facility that has been sort of turned into a temporary Arasaka bunker. And he relinquished Makoto into your capable hands if you are to keep her safe. At the same time, we have another sort of parallel storyline going on with Mr. Lucius Rhine, the councilman, who got in touch with Jimenez and has some big plans regarding Jimenez's career and what this can be turned into. And that's where we're gonna start again tonight, 2 days after BPS has left Night City. The 5 of you are back at your apartment. In one of your apartments. I was going to say Mr. White because it seems to be the de facto meeting spot for everyone.
Even though I don't prefer that.
I
They
know.
still show up.
It's just, yeah, everyone's at your place.
I'm not gonna let them in mine.
Wait, I thought it was Trinz's apartment that most people would visit because it's got a lot of loungy areas to it.
It does. It's just every time I've seen you plan something, if I remember
It's
right...
me that ends up at White, and then everybody just follows me around because I can't get rid of these motherfuckers.
It's
So-
your magnetism, Reno. It's your
We'll-
magnetism.
We'll switch it up for tonight then, and the 6 of you are actually at White's, not White's, but at Trinz's place. Mercutio is asleep in his room.
There's a white noise generator and the sound baffling. It's very important.
And, well, I'll leave all of you to your planning as to what are you going to do to flush out the Raffenschiff in town.
So I think that was already put in motion because I remember a specific episode in the night market in which Rin, Jinx, and Jimenez decided to pick a bit of a fight with some Raffenschiff who showed up there. Jimenez doing so in the guise of Justice Mom.
Yes.
And I believe the encounter was not only exceptionally violent for Jimenez, not his fault. I believe that the encounter was taped and then put on the web for certain parties to find.
Now, my memory might be a little fuzzy, but that was what allowed you to learn that Doug Killer actually was hiding out on Morrow Rock.
Yes. But I also believe that none of us were enthused about the idea of storming Morrow Rock. And so the idea floated was to basically start guerrilla warfare with the Raffenschiff until Dog Killer is forced to come out and address it personally.
And, there was the whole, how many people does it take to deliver a message moment when Jinx decided to shoot somebody through the head, who was possibly one of the 2 people that they were letting run away. It was epic.
Oops. Let me just remove the other camera. There we go. Hello, Jinx.
Hello.
Oh, I seem to not have my noise gate up.
And there was also, when we did the bit with the Inquisitor, that Trinz totally drifted a RV into shoving him into the air and then pinning him under. There was apparently a bunch of Raffenschiff there that Jinx got pissy with, and there was stabbing.
Yep. But so far, even after 2 days, Doug Killer still hasn't come out of Morrow Rock. So if your guerrilla warfare is your idea, is what the plan you want to go through with, pray tell, what will it look like? What's everyone going to do?
I mean, I'll do what I do best, and that's just snipe everybody and.
Maybe
Yes, so anyway, I just started blasting kind of thing.
maybe call in some favors, see if we can figure out where down they've been congregating, and then go to them, take the fight over there. You know, how did they keep showing up wherever we are? Oh, I have no idea.
I mean, they're all over the city, but like where they're congregating, there's two spots. One is Morrow Rock, one is a warehouse district near the docks, where they're most at. I mean, we could try and go to them. I think we could also do things like, I don't know, set up a distress call for trauma team, have them come in hot, say it's a hot zone, right on top of some Raf and Shiv doing something stupid. We could also see if we can track down what they're doing and set them up to run into NCPD, because they've been breaking into low-level medical supply places and things like that. Put them in harm's way more often than not. Then we don't have to worry about necessarily doing it all ourselves, and we can do it at multiple times in multiple places.
I still have a bunch of boots I can put on their cars.
Yeah,
And get them towed.
I thought it was going to be just a number of different things, but also utilizing contacts and maybe calling in a few favors from other runners.
You could get your girlfriend. What's her name? Fancy Princess? Fancy Princess?
Crazy Princess?
Crazy Princess. Who's Princess?
I mean, yeah, we could all call in some favors and like set them up like multiple.
I don't think. Well, Crazy Princess is not my girlfriend. That would be and Jimenez just puts at trends. And two, she's not really a fighter. But I was more thinking maybe that crew I ran with at the meat market. I think they'd be up for shooting up some Raf and Shiv. But more importantly, we were just going to probably start using our contacts to be on the lookout and, jump with you. I mean, we want them to come to us, not necessarily just the Night City PD.
And before we go into big montage mode, where do you want them? Like, since you're going to flush them out, if it succeeds, like, where would you want them to be? Like, where would you want Doug Killer to be when you finally get face to face with him?
Not in the combat zone.
Because, I mean, if you're not doing anything, like, they know where you live. Which means that they can easily just come in and put everyone in the apartment in danger. I'm just giving that information away for free.
That's why I was saying if other people are doing things and it's not coming back to us.
Well, I mean, we want them to come to us, but no, I get it. I think we probably should plan and figure out where we want to have our showdown. Where would be a good place?
The advantage of the combat zone is that nobody really is going to give a shit if a bunch of Raf and Shiv end up dead there. People might get a little upset if we kill a bunch of people in, the University District or the Marina or City Center.
Oh, it's nice about
well, maybe not
people
old
worrying
City
about
Center,
them being
but we don't
dead
wanna
more
be-
than just. I don't want extra guns to show up to.
Yeah, but I don't have the gear for the radiation poisoning that you'd get in Old City Center.
No,
'Cause it
depending
is-
on where you want to be. I mean, Old City Center would mean everyone's in hazmat suit.
Yeah, that's. I don't got the gear for that. Well, I have some of the gear for that, but not all of it. I mean, I figure if we put them in somewhere closer to where we control in the combat zone.
Yeah, or didn't Kiyoshi give us a place?
Yeah, but I thought that was our super secret hideout, and we weren't going to bring. You
Okay,
know,
super secret. Okay.
yeah,
I
like
mean,
the Batcave, right?
Yeah.
Or
I
the-
figured
you
that's
know-
what we were going to transition to.
Well,
That
if they're all
being said-
dead, then the secret's safe, isn't it?
It's true. But White makes an excellent point in that they know where we live, which means that if they choose to retaliate before they come to us directly, do we want to put all these people in danger of them coming and doing something? Yeah. So shouldn't we move these people someplace safe before we start, going after them, trying to rile them up?
Well, they're over on Morrow Rock, right? So that means they're going to have to cross the water to meet us anyways, because we're sure as hell not going there. So even if we say that we can be found in...
Dog Killer is... Sorry to interrupt you. Dog Killer is on Morrow Rock. You don't know where the other Raf and Shiv... Like, there are probably some that are with him, but, like, some others, all the ones you saw were, like, out in Night City.
But no, we also did
Yeah,
recon, and we
so-
found out that there was a warehouse area in the marina where a bunch of them were congregating from time to time, where they're coming together in larger groups, because we were considering hitting that place at one point. That's in my notes.
That's still not a bad idea.
Well, I mean, this is two parts. One is we have to hit them where they are right now, which is around the city. We can't control that, but eventually he's going to have to come over from Morrow Rock, and, well, there aren't very many ways for him to come over to Night City proper. So, if we say that he can find us at X place, we can sort of just wait at by the water and maybe snipe him before he even sets foot on Night City.
Yeah, I was thinking of like attacking the boat, like trying to get them to come over and then attacking the boat. So I mean, what we could do is do more recon. Sorry, I have cat hair. More recon, and maybe set up like if people are willing to like ambush the Raf and Shiv and cause like chaos, so that they're like disorganized and everything. That might be enough to get Dog Killer to move, and then we attack them. I mean, we could say, hey, we're here, point to random location where there's hopefully no innocent bystanders. We could do all of that. Otherwise,
Or we could just call him. I think we should just call him. He's
I
probably in the
mean-
numbers. I bet if we 4-1 and we could find him, we could call him.
I mean, I'm all good for like old Western shootout too.
You want to duel him at eye noon?
Yep.
But if we have boats involved, then we can do like pirate stuff.
That assumes he takes a boat from Morrow Island and not an AAV.
I mean, you could set up an EMP or something. Sure, nothing. So he has to take a boat.
Okay. You want one? I'll make you one.
Okay.
I don't really want to deal with that, no.
An EMP the size that you would need to get from Night City to Morrow Rock and make sure that it affects everything in the air, you won't have time to do that unless we wait like a few months.
Yeah, or of course, unless I fire it from the ground into a low-level rocket to explode in the lower atmosphere, and then it would fuck everything up in the city, which I don't think is a good idea.
I don't want to become, on the radar of the entire city for fucking up that much stuff.
If you break the Wi-Fi, you will be wanted.
If you explode a low-level EMP in the lower if you explode an EMP in the lower atmosphere, it will do more than fuck the Wi-Fi.
I mean, didn't we do that already when we broke into IEC? Wasn't that an EMP?
No,
but that wasn't that big.
No, I made small middle EMPs that were, and it wasn't IEC. It was the other place where I was totally intimidating.
We had one for IEC as well that we got off of Nightjack. Reno got off of Nightjack.
Yeah, but it was much smaller and targeted.
Blowing up the Wi-Fi aside, we can save that for later. The only eyes on this island, ones that are friendly to the Raffenschiff. Like, do we have nobody that we could contact on this island?
Not that you know at the moment. I mean, you could, as a fixer, you could go through your network of contacts and try to find someone who works at the orbital launch station, which then they could probably give you some info. But otherwise, like, as far as, let's say, known NPCs in this campaign, you've never met anyone who works on Morro Rock.
Okay. I think that's something I'd like to do just off the top. I'd like to see if I can use my contacts to find out if there's anybody at Morro Rock that we can use to our advantage so that we can get eyes on whatever he would use to get from there to the mainland so that we can start our planning from, here's his mode of transportation to get across. So here's how we're going to handle him when he's on the way. Is that something that I can do?
That is something that you can definitely try to do. That would... what's your fixer rank?
I have to find that all over again. Rollability 5, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's what
okay.
It is. All right. So you've got enough people who know people in your network to find a few workers at the mass driver. It's gonna take me just a quick second. Get that information here. Of course. Yeah, so the mass driver used to belong to, or it was actually created by Arasaka. Kiyoshi has no contacts on this side of Night City. Like, it was manufactured by Arasaka, but it was, it switched hands very quickly. In fact, it is now being controlled and operated by Militech, the military company, which is more or less the go-to corp for the American military. And you found someone who works there. A guy by the name of Rodrigo. He doesn't know you, you don't know him, but someone you knew, he owed a favor to someone you knew, and basically I'll give you this tidbit of information. No one, as far as Rodrigo is concerned, is actively hiding anyone on Morro Rock. But a couple of weeks ago, there was an AV that landed on the island. No clearance, nothing. It didn't land because, Morro Rock is an island. The mass driver doesn't take up the entire island. So it landed outside of the mass driver. It doesn't have any clearances to be there, but the NCPD never investigated. Like, they don't really respond to calls, or they just, brushed it off. That AV never left the island.
Okay. What would
They would know because, they're specializing in sending stuff to space. Mm-hmm. They have eyes all over the island. the AV is still there. And it's landed on a patch of like beach, like a sandy area, not in any way like a place where you would go for a swim or anything like that. But if we were to look on the map, on Roll20, it would be about here, like on the western bank of the island. It's there. There are no buildings around. So if someone is in there, there has got to be. That person either went into the ocean and drowned, hence why the AV is still there, or that person is living inside that AV and never had to get out. And they can even, that's the other piece of information I can give you, the model of the AV itself. It is an AV9 multi-purpose aerodyne. Is a rather big thing. It's I mean, yeah, you've been in Night City for some time. You used to see these AVs used by the trauma team. But they were slow and they don't really maneuver well in the streets of Night City. Like, so long as you're above the skyline, like, there's no problem, right? But the moment they were trying to land and would have to navigate, that became a problem. Hence why now, like with White's crew, they have a smaller AV, one that maneuvers a lot better, but does sacrifice a little bit of room. The AV9 is basically twice the size of your RV.
Well, I will relay all this information.
They sell old trauma team AVs off, like you know, kind of sell off old police cars, so they just sell them to the public and they don't need them anymore. White.
Come again.
Like, okay. They sell off, you know, like how they sell old police cars when they get the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
But they sell off old trauma team AVs like that. Or
Probably.
would you happen to know the person?
I can make a call and see who's now in charge of those kinds of records, because the last person I would have called seemed to have skipped town.
Donald Oliver.
Mm-hmm. And has never been heard from again. For good reason. Kind of winking at Reno, since that's the person that she killed for me. But yeah, I can make a call and see what we don't have a model though or anything to cross-reference anything with, but we know that it's an AV9.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the name
Mm-hmm.
of the vehicle, but like you wouldn't know like the model number or anything like that. Like it's just
we don't,
it would
we
be
don't
like,
have
oh, it's a Dodge Ram pickup truck, but
yeah, that's fine. I'll make some calls, see what I can find.
What's your rank in operator?
An operator?
Well, your fixer level.
I don't have a fixer level.
No, that is true. You only have you have a bunch of contacts. And you're calling trauma team. So what's your medtech level?
My medtech level is 5.
Okay. It'll take about a day before you get the answer.
Okay.
It's not anything that is like private information or confidential, but you are asking to get like info on stuff that was probably sold to civilians like 20 years ago.
Oh, so it's that long ago.
It's that, yeah. That's at least something you know right off the bat. Like,
Well, then that's going to
It's
be kind
old.
of a dead end because it would have changed hands multiple times.
Yeah, there's no telling at that point.
Yeah.
yeah, but they could tell you like who they sold these things to normally.
But would they have held on to it for 20 years to be able to track it down? It feels like
It's so that vehicle sells on the market used for roughly $650,000.
So it's not going to be to just Joe Blow. Okay.
Yeah, it's like you're not gonna sell that to an individual.
Okay.
So there,
Wow.
even though it's been a while, like there is, and I'm telling you that even out of game, like there is a trace. Just
Okay.
due to the simple fact that it's so expensive that normally it would probably be bought by like corporations or people with a lot of money.
All right. Yeah, I'll just sit on that. I mean, the only other thing that I could do to speed it up is to go in and actually get into the system myself.
Yes, if you want to do that, you could.
But that's really up to the group.
Might as well just go over there and knock on the window.
Is there any way I could assist in that would not involve going over and knocking on the window?
Knocking on what window?
On the van window to see who's in there, kind of thing. Like,
Oh.
it's gonna be that much trouble that like we might as well just go knock on the window. Is the thing.
If you want to go knock on the window, it's probably Dog Killer.
I wasn't being like serious. Like, let's just go over. Let's see. Like, it just wouldn't be worth the trouble of like trying to hunt down.
Might be more dangerous to try to do.
Right.
But that means that also if you need to, if there's anything that you need to plan, you would have like now you'd have about like 12 to 20 hours to like if you want to get people together, if you want to get like material, equipment, whatever, like you at least have that window.
Another thing to consider is if there hasn't been any movement and they only took the one EV, it is possible we can use our contacts to instead procure ourselves something heavy and have everyone look the other way and just show up and riddle it full of holes.
I want to keep it. Can we steal it?
Well, I was thinking something even more fun. It's a little out of left field, but it's on an island by itself. Why don't you just build some kind of missile and you just launch it at them?
Aw.
Not going to launch a missile at
peasy.
Militech. Because that
Yeah,
island is owned by Militech.
Yeah, I don't want to piss off Militech and die.
Or you
Let me
got
rephrase that.
But you haven't considered the fact that maybe they might not notice us.
It's Militech. That's like saying, hi, I want to blow up Arasaka today. That didn't end well for Johnny. I don't feel like I want to be on that crew.
Fine. Just ruin all the fun. It's fine.
Now, to be fair, I know some guys who have the industrial strength magnets, and I know some other guys who have some helicopters. We can go steal it.
It's not
Okay,
stealing
and I
if
think
there's still people
Conspicuousness.
inside.
Yeah.
Kidnapping. How is that any less problematic? Well, it's a lot less problematic than firing at a Militech facility.
Yeah,
Not if everybody's looking the other
I
way.
really think that we should keep this on the street level and deal with things a little bit more personally, just on our own terms.
Okay, so we get our contacts to help us out if they want to help us out, and we cause chaos, and we try and get him to come over here.
Sounds so
I
simple
wouldn't
when you
say
put it
it's
like
called
that.
chaos. I don't want to. I don't really want
No,
to. Say
but I
it's
mean-
called chaos. I just
Okay.
think that my idea is that we figure out where they are. We tail a couple of choice ones until they are in a place that we can ambush them at, and then leave a message that way. We do that enough times. Well, we already established that there are no more Wrath and Shiv coming into the city. The what's the name of the group that allowed them in the first place?
The Aldecados.
Yeah, because we did negotiate with the Aldecados, and basically they agreed that they would not be letting in anymore. So there's now a finite group of them around here. If we just pick off enough of them,
I believe that finite
And,
group is around 60 minus the 2, 5, 6 that we iced.
Something like that.
Are we counting the market?
Yeah, 2 in the infirmary, 3 or 4 in the market, because
3 in
one
the
of them we
market.
let go away. So yeah,
No, four in the market because we let the one guy go away, but we did actually. But Jinx then shot the other one through the back of the head. So we didn't let 2 escape. We only let 1 escape.
whatever.
I'm okay with picking them off. Like, let's find them and pick them off, and
I mean, let's be real. If we continue to do this and we scare them or intimidate them in the fashion, maybe not all of them are going to end up, sticking around for a fight with Dog Killer. Maybe they'll just leave the city of their own accord because it's just not worth it.
yeah, that is possible. I mean, they're not exactly the most tight-knit group. Or at least last time I checked. So, is that what we're gonna do?
If that's what you want to do, who do you call? Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters! I'm sorry.
If I see a 30-story Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, we're blowing that shit up from space.
What if
We're
we
going to
make a
space.
marshmallow man?
I mean, I could. Do we want one? I know some people. That much gelatin might be a problem.
I mean, it would certainly unsettle them enough to make them leave the city.
I
Cost
thought
could
you
be a
wanted
factor,
to
though.
keep. Yeah, keeping things on street level is not giant marshmallow man person. But, among your friends, I know that Imenez wanted to reach out to Team Nameless. Team Nameless has disbanded. But, shoot, what's her name? I was gonna say Vixen, but that's not her name. Old notes, come over here.
Raven.
Raven?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raven.
Raven is still in operation. He is still, can still be counted on. But the rest of the crew went their separate ways after a job went sort of sideways. But you do have Raven, and she owes you one.
Yeah. I would probably hire her to work solo. Maybe snipe a couple of them as, the opportunity arises.
All right. Who else are you asking?
Would it be
I mean,
crazy if I sent a message to that old Solo's retirement home?
You want to get
One last hurrah?
retired solos out of retirement for one last job?
What is
What
this?
about
The
that solo that
Expendables?
was hitting them? What about that solo who was hitting on Jimenez?
Yeah, at the Solo's retirement home.
Yeah,
the one
she was in the
who,
retirement.
the one who, Black Cat, we were trailing to, and that's where we met, and that's where we figured out that your car needs some serious help. But we fixed it.
Thank you. It's much better now.
Yes, Belinda. That's another one you could call upon. She's at the retirement home in Camden Court.
Bing, bada, boom. Great ideas.
I know that.
If you want to hire other, like, unnamed solos, I can give you the price. Because they're not, your friends are more or less, for the purposes of our game, are going to work for free. Like, it's calling in a
Right.
favor, right?
Well, all my friends are dead, so.
No, but I mean, yeah. Great book. Um,
What about those guys with the taco truck?
We blew up that taco truck.
the taco truck blew up, but they're still there. They still exist. You can still call them. However,
It's a
they're
taco
pretty
stand
much-
now.
No, but
Taco
they're
cart.
pretty much non-violent.
They can do recon.
They can do recon, but
Yeah.
don't count on them in a fight.
Oh, and
No,
Trins.
we just need them to spot our targets.
Yeah, and Trins and Jinx, when we went to go talk to the cats, who are the car boosters, and that
Yes, the
stupid
cool
idiot
cats.
Heathcliff. Yeah, stupid idiot Heathcliff.
Their names are cool.
He's still an ass, and we asked them. We gave them free reign if they wanted to take anything off the cars, and to let us know where each of their cars were.
That's how we found out about the meeting point at the docks.
Mhm.
Yep.
So if we just ask them to maybe, it's like, hey, if you let us know where their cars are, I'm going to be booting their cars, so then you can just take their shit. It's fine.
I'm pretty sure didn't they make it clear that they didn't want to be directly involved?
Yeah, and then he hit on me really awkwardly and really insultingly. So
Really? He had no game?
no, he was an asshole and a dick. And Jinx threatened to shoot him.
Yeah, I did. I still might do it. Anyway. Can I call on... Okay, these guys have never showed up in the game. They're in my stories. But I was going to call on Riddle and Boston and Bull.
Yeah, the other nomads that you
They're not nomads. One's a solo,
Well-
one's a netrunner, one's my enemy.
You've replaced
Frenemy.
me.
Huh?
You've replaced me.
No, I did not replace you. I keep all my solo friends very close. I love you all.
I'm not jealous.
Okay, so the cool cats they're gonna have their own way of helping. But they will only do it if Heathcliff can have a date with Trins.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Sure. I'll be happy to go out with you. Let me give you, when you've actually managed to acquire 6 of those cars, then We can talk about where we'll be meeting to have dinner. Then she will hang up and turn and look at Jimenez and go, is it really, really mean if I send him to the dump? You're muted.
I mean, wherever you want to meet him, I'm sure is fine.
No, I'm going to send him to the dump. I'm not going to show up.
Oh.
She's gonna dump him.
Did you?
So
Yes.
I guess you could do that. Could you just give him some consolation prize? Because I feel kind of bad.
His consolation prize is I'm not getting Trinks to shoot him. He was skeevy.
I mean, all right.
Also, he can't, I can give him a consolation prize. It's not probably going to be a prize he wants, but I can give him a consolation prize.
Okay, White, you were going to say something?
So, White would actually call the Cadillacs and get them to do something similar to, wherever there's an opportunity to make their vehicles disappear while they're busy. And then he'd also work with the librarian and the brainiacs to be tracking them and where they've been hitting things. And then there's Big Jim that owes him his life. And there's a Solo who tried to kill us during the game, who also owes him his life, who he would call in favors on.
I'm just searching for Big Jim.
Big Jim's the name you gave me when we killed the two in the pop-up Ripper Doc shop. He was the guy that I fixed on the floor that they were going to let die.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. So he's gonna be in my notes for the pop-up shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The other one happened in the big fight right outside of Flank's spot.
All right. So
I called the trauma team for him.
Yeah, he was one of the that was during the game. It was one of the people that came in during the game.
Yeah, that was that van or whatever of guys that showed up.
Yeah, playing some very bad music. Yep.
And then I'd probably also call Gus Bison and let him know that Militech has let a nomad leader of the Raffen Shove hide out on Mora Rock, because Gus Bison likes to do anarchist kind of journalism, especially when it has to do with corporate things. So I'd throw that crumb out there as well. And I think that's all that I want to play around with at this moment.
Okay. And we said the edge runners from Jinx's story. What do you want them to do? Is it also murder? Because I have a lot of people marked down for murder at the moment.
Well, Riddle is a net runner, so he'd probably do something like maybe recon. Boston I would tell Boston and Bull, do whatever you want, just be a nuisance. If you have to kill them, kill them. If they don't, if they run, then let them run. But
yeah, that I'm marking those things as murder.
Okay. Yes, murder. Nuisance, murder. Yeah. Basically.
All right. anyone that Reno, Trince, X, or Black Cat want to also involve?
I can call Dax and maybe have him sort of keep lookout through various cameras in town to see if he can sort of help us figure out where they are, where they're going, the sort of thing I mentioned earlier. But
For recon, too.
yeah, recon. I don't really know that many, pew 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 sort of people.
I mean, you had a few that you called in to back us up during
I
the
had a
game.
couple of snipers that I knew, but I feel like we got snipers sort of covered. Yeah.
Well, no, they were muscle. They came in a car and they helped us in the game, and we had that standoff
We could call
with
them
the
in
cops.
too if we need them. Yeah, sure. We'll keep them
I
on
don't remember
standby
what
as
their
well.
names were.
Yeah, I have them here. It's the Triangle.
Well, we'll call them in as well.
A group of 3 edge runners.
Now, this is a very strange idea, but I want you to hear me out on it.
I'm here for strange.
So we know his name is Dog Killer and he's creepy and does bad things, right?
Yeah.
Who do we know who is connected to a certain rights organization that would be very upset if we mentioned that this particular individual was in the city? Because I think if we tell Gina and she tells the rest of her crazy PETA friends that Dog Killer is here, we don't even need to find him.
That could work.
What do you expect them to do? Greenpeace Morrow Rock and arrive there in inflatable rafts?
Have you seen them? I could totally see that happening. Also, there will probably be red paint involved at some point. Randomly just thrown on people.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna throw stakes.
No, they don't.
But she was part of a more violent group than Greenpeace.
Yeah, like I said, PETA.
Okay.
Is up to you. I mean, I know you would like to see Gina die.
I don't want to see Gina die. If you want, we have resources. I like Gina. She's nice. I can even talk to her on occasion. Just a little weird that she's dating my brother. And they're on again, off again weirdness. It's very weird.
Jealous. So, okay, so we have a way of killing him. Obviously, we've got to have a city out killing him now. Do we have a way of luring him out? I thought maybe Blackjack might be able to, I don't know, give him a fake deal or something. Great sale on knives, on dogs. I don't know whatever.
I have Jinx.
If
you want her, come get her.
Just continue to. I think maybe if we just, work out the current logistics, he's going to have to come out at some point.
He lives in a boat on the beach.
Well, let's start with this, and then we'll go from there. We'll see what he does. We'll see what work.
Okay.
What makes him react.
Right. I mean, what could he do? Turn his body into some sort of mechanical spider and attack us? Because we've done that before. So
It would be really bad form on me to reuse the same. Let me just note something down. No mechanical spider. If he turns into a mechanical scorpion.
Is there a
But
time
see,
where
that's not
you
gonna
have
work
to
for
watch
me,
the
'cause
tail?
Scorpions and spiders are related. They're both arachnids.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, is there a time where, you can only attack them when the tail's like down?
Yeah, when the tail glows red, then that's when you shoot. And you have to do it 3 times.
Yep.
And when he dies, you get half a heart.
Looks like a really bad CGI of The Rock.
Oh my god.
Really bad.
Look, if we need to, we should call Brendan Fraser. He could totally help us with this.
I think that we've got enough to start. I think there are other strings we can pull if we need to. What I'm curious about, though, is why is he hiding on Moral Rock? Because he's got superior numbers. Heck, he even knows where Jinx lives.
Maybe he's just a bad strategist. I mean, we haven't really dealt with a lot of very good chess players so far.
Oh, he's a coward.
I've
Be
gone
so-
with the latter.
Could be so cocky that he doesn't think he even has to get his hands dirty to get the job done.
I mean, that's possible, but it just feels like Moral Rock's a strange place to hide out.
Maybe he knows something we don't.
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, I don't really think that sitting around thinking about it too much is going to really help us in this case. I think we just gotta...
If we're trying to lure him out, we have to know why he went there. I think that's where it would help.
Right, but...
Because if there's something scarier than us in the city, it's not going to work. That's what I want to rule out.
Whatever he's planning there, it's probably less likely to work when he has only 20 or 30 of his people left instead of 50.
Agreed. I'm not saying we don't do the other. I'm just curious.
Well, we can tell all our Netrunner friends to maybe look into that a little bit more, a little deeper. Maybe they'll find something. We'll start there.
We might need them more for recon right now.
Yeah.
Just because we need to set up the other people to succeed. It's not going to work very well if they fail.
Yeah, no.
So, am I locking down all the people that you called?
Yep.
Yes.
Alright. Because shit's about to get real. So, before we go to break, montage of stuff. Over the next couple of days, first I'm just going to give White the answer from earlier. Most of the sales of like the AV9s, like none of them are really particularly like stand out for any reason, but there was one that was sold to Militech that was then quote unquote lost by Militech.
Okay.
Never destroyed, never crashed anywhere, never sold again, but it went missing. The other ones, you can trace them back to, you can trace them to other cities across America. Many were purchased by Petrochem and Sovoil, and they now operate in like the wheat fields of Central America, well, you know, Central Midwest America.
Okay.
Because due to their size, they can transport a lot of cargo, so they just, you know, fill them up with wheat when they harvest. They're basically used as like giant cargo containers. Since, you know, they were sold 20 some odd years ago, but in fact they were built a lot longer before then. So they're rather old. But there's just this one. Militech bought 4 of them. They still have 3. That other one just mysteriously...
When?
It disappeared. Actually, 2 years after it was purchased. 18 years ago.
Okay. I want to keep all the details on that particular one. VIN, codes, everything that we have.
So I didn't like write down an actual model number, but like you have it.
That's fine. That's fine.
So you would know, like I'll let you know if it is the same one. Like you'll have the model number, you'll know if it's the same or not.
Okay.
And one other thing that you do know is right before it was lost, because it used to belong to Trauma Team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trauma Team has a certain amount of equipment, like of turrets and other weaponry on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one was pimped out before it was lost.
So Militech put all that stuff back on
They
it.
invested a shit ton of money, like millions of Eurobucks into it. And then it got lost. None of the other 3 got
Gotcha.
the same treatment. And if you need to know what it's got right now, it's got 2 rocket launchers, 2 remote control machine guns, and 2 turreted 40 millimeters auto, assault rifles, I should say.
Good lord.
It's also equipped with a fire suppressant all around the vehicle. It also has an anti-laser aerosol linked to a laser detector, which means that if anyone was trying to aim with like a laser sight, or guide a missile towards it, they can cloak right away. And it also has long-range telecommunication, which is able to cross almost the entire United States.
Perfect. And I have all the information on what type of communication device.
Yes, it's a military radio with a scrambler
Mm-hmm.
that is linked to a private... Well, it's a radio, but it doesn't really use radio waves because it communicates directly with a Militech satellite that then sends the information elsewhere, the signal elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with the actual device itself and its particulars because I'd like to send a message.
From what you know,
Mm-hmm.
back when Trauma Team sold the Aerodyne, it still had everything that a regular Trauma Team AV has.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have like the equivalent of a somewhat basic surgery, like operating table, with a probably not filled, but like there would have been a pharmacy. There would have been room for cryo bags.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing. And they also have like what is it? The electrocardiogram machine.
Mm-hmm.
They would have like oxygen tanks with masks. There would be a Geiger counter on board.
Oh yeah,
And, like,
the fact that they left it fully outfitted actually makes it better because all that stuff's in inventory. and so I have access to its particulars.
Yeah.
Basically, anything there that I can hack, as soon as I'm in range, I can hack it.
And one of the things that you would also know, this is a bit more like game mechanics, right? But if you want to shoot at the Aerodyne, it was reinforced. It now has a stopping power of 45.
Excellent.
Meaning that on every attack, it's going to soak the first 45 points of damage.
And I'm sure they did the same to the windows.
Yep. Oh, it's the entire vehicle.
Nice.
And it has, in game terms, 180 hit points. So, like, normally in world, right, it's translated into, like, oh yeah, they added, like, this or that defense, like, plating to it, thick bulletproof windows, blah, blah, blah. It is a freaking tank. And, of course, Militech is still using the other three. You just don't know where they're stationed, because that's, you know, that's confidential information.
Enough.
But, yeah, that one, you now know where it is. Which might also explain why the NCPD did not want to show up on Mortal Rock. Because, despite Trince's work on the NCPD cars, they can't stand up to... Well, they could probably stand up to the Aerodyne, but they wouldn't be able to take it down. Like, the Aerodyne could just leave, and the NCPD couldn't do anything. Whereas, like, it would be a war of attrition that the AV9 would win at some point. And NCPD doesn't really have infinite resources to throw at a random rogue AV. I had one last thing before I go into the montage, because I almost forgot. If you want to get people out of retirement, Reno, it would be 2,000 eddies per solo you want to hire.
We can afford that. We can afford that. Can we afford that?
How many do you want?
2.
Yeah, we can afford that.
2? Oh yeah, we can afford that. I can pay you that straight up.
Alright.
But Trends does have a shopping list for Black Cat. It's a very important shopping list. Hit me with it. I need gasoline, styrofoam, and alcohol. And glass bottles.
You want a shit ton of Molotovs?
No,
She's
I
having
want
a great party.
I want a shit ton of napalm. The styrofoam is the important ingredient there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Sure, I can get that for you. Not a problem.
Like, enough to make 12. As much as you...
Let's call it 13. Let's make 13.
I like 13. 13's fun. And just tell me how much you want.
DM?
Yeah, that's what the DM is doing. Because I would consider that to be more or less the same thing as
If you can get me unleaded gasoline, it'd be even better. Oh no, we only have Chutu. I'll deal with it.
yeah, it's alcohol now. Like,
It's
that's
all
what
alcohol,
it is.
but it's technically distilled enough that it's... Okay, so...
Oh, it's
then
distilled
I'd
enough that it's like, you know,
Then-
it will
then it would
blind
be-
you after a sip type of thing.
Yeah, but then I would need Chutu, styrofoam, and acetone.
So we're talking about, you want it to be somewhat like a grenade. Like, you're not trying to carpet bomb an entire area, right?
No, I just need like 7, like a wine bottle size.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's because I want to see, like, price-wise, what how much is going to be required. All right, it will be. You said 12 of them.
Yeah, case.
So that would be twice that price in total. Because you also have to pay some hush money to some people, because it sort of raises eyebrows when you make those demands. But in total, it's for 6 it would be 1,500 eddies, and then 12 would be 3,000.
Is there no way that I can convince them, being ever so charming, to take a little off the price?
You can try a haggle check.
I can certainly try that. Where would I find haggling?
I have it here. I just want to note down the page I'm at. Okay, so it's your cool plus your trading skill
Neat.
plus
Okay.
your fixer level.
Oh, okay. So just like all those numbers added together flat?
Yeah, plus a d10.
Okay. I'm not good at math. Oops.
And the DV for this,
There we go.
holy shit. Unless I roll a 10, I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah. Alright, you'll get the friend and family discount.
Throw in an extra for free, please. Just one. Make it a baker's dozen.
They're actually, it's going to be 20% off.
Okay. Plus the extra free?
No.
You disappoint.
It's because it's easier for them to give them by case instead of like cracking one open and then
I
like,
understand. I
fractioning
get
everything.
it. You want to break my art. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so 20% off of the... I have to,
No, I'm gonna count it for you.
24.
It's 600.
Two.
So yeah, it becomes 2,400.
Okay, 2,400 then for your dozen cases of fuck up. Fuck all.
Look, you have some really great armor plating. You have some really great things, but I know some people with some great arms, and napalm sticks to everything.
Yeah, the way it works, is that if you damage a person with it, so it's an explosive that you have to throw, and it affects an area. The people in there can try to dodge out, like if their dodge beats your attack roll, right? If it doesn't, they start taking 4 hit points per turn in damage. But they cannot... Like, they can't put themselves out.
You can't put it out, and it's gonna stick, and it'll spread on the ground.
Ish.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what it is. Of course, there are certain armors. If I'm talking about the Metal Gear armor, which you don't think Dog Killer has, but as a like precaution, the Metal Gear armor is fireproof. I mean, it's not fireproof, but the person inside will never be hurt by the flames.
No, but the vehicle will be.
Depends. The current vehicle that they have would not. Not with the armor plating that they have.
Yeah, but she's planning things. She's planning.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, just so you know, if something is too armored, it's not going to go through. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, like, even if you have, like, the heavy armor jack and all that, it doesn't matter. And it damages cyberware the same way it would damage a like a regular person. So even on a cyber psycho, for example, like who's, you know, cybered up 90% of their body, it's still going to melt all the cyberware. So while you're prepping this war crime, we're gonna go to break. When we come back, it's gonna be montage time, and then the consequences of your choices. Stick around, everyone. We'll be back in about 5-10ish minutes. And I'll try to get some good montage music going on. Hello, people. We're back. And we need montage music, which I think I have here. I'm not 100% sure it's going to work. So give me just a moment. Let's see. Nah, that's not good enough. Alright, the GM is going to ask that we wait patiently just 2 seconds. Because why the hell not? I have the rights to a lot of music.
We're very patient. We can see you online. We're all very cool.
What do you mean you can see me online?
Oh, we're live.
I know we're live.
Okay. I was making sure we're being patient. Yeah. We're just being, no, I'm just making sure we're being patient live and online. That's it.
Let's start with this one. Oh, at least one person's gonna. So, I don't know if your sound players is loud enough for you to hear. Alright. So we begin our montage. This is gonna take place all across Night City. It starts with two Raffen Shivs coming out of a club and talking. And they walk by an alley. And all of a sudden, one of them disappears in the alley. There's the muzzle flash of a gun once or twice. Of course, it's raining because it's Night City. And as the other Raffen Shiv gets his shotgun out and goes into the alley, we see Belinda in her, transparent raincoat. Basically the same pose she has in our art, right? So leaning against the wall. her smoking SMG in her hand, and she just blows a kiss to the last Raffenschiff before murdering him. We move on to catch Magnus, Proxy, and Jewel in their new Taco Truck 2.0, staking out the place by the marina. And we also see that Jewel in the car has a briefcase marked Biotechnica. And in a separate scene, we would see Jewel actually give Mr. White the briefcase. Inside the briefcase, White, you have 3 doses of Stim and 2 doses of Speed Heal that you do not need to create, basically.
Excellent.
High atop a building, we'd see Raven watch like a lone Raffenschiff cyclist drive down one of the main streets in Night City. And she just takes her assault rifle, aims, and fires a few shots. And the bike just goes careening into a wall and explodes. In another separate instance, we'd see an abandoned parking lot near the marina. Well, the one at the marina. You got a few cars and quite a lot of motorcycles, like all lined up. And you have like the Raffenschiffs sort of partying nearby, and a group of like a small gang of people dressed in like leathers and rather shoddy clothing. The Cadillacs are like sneaking to like crouch down, sneaking up to the cars to start boosting them. And then one of the Cadillacs stops and looks up through like the window and sees on the other side of the same car one of the Cool Cat, Garfield, doing the same thing. Then we would skip to the Brainiacs just scouring the net. Some of them plugged into like the net itself, like net running completely. Others just like searching through garden spaces and general like BBSs across Night City, and just forwarding like message after message, grainy photos, footage to White and the gang as to where they are. We would see like a counter of how many Raffenschiffs are still alive, and like the number 40 goes down to 37, goes down to 33. All across Night City, we would see like the Triangle, Boston, and Bull just ambush some of the Wraiths as like they're driving around, or just literally picking fights with them. 2 of the random solos will also corner like 4 Raffenschiffs, sort of playing like a game of cat and mouse, until they just tire and one of the solos gets 2 rather heavy submachine guns and just sprays the Raffenschiffs, riddles them with bullets. Dax is sitting in a dark room, connected to his cyber deck, and just running the net and trying to find any information that would lead from Night City proper to Mortal Rock. And pretty much every time a Wraith dies, like whoever is on Mortal Rock is notified. And I think one of the other little scene that we see would be just, you know, like in Inspector Gadget, you just see the back of a chair with just one arm of Dog Killer, like, punching his keyboard at the little, like, computer station he has inside the AV as his Raph and Shiv are getting killed. And of course, like, this happens, camera pulls back, we see the armored AV, Moral Rock, the big mass driver, and as the camera pulls back even farther, we see that it's not like a third eye camera or anything, but is actually Gus Bison through drones keeping an eye out. And the giant AV takes off. In our last scene, we would see in the middle of the combat zone, fighting almost back to back, Big Jim and I called him the Rocket Solo because it was the guy with the rocket launcher. And so Big Jim is just like pummeling Raph and Shivs that are running like swords out at the two solos, while Rocket Solo is loading like one last rocket and looks to Jim, and they basically both jump in the air as Rocket Solo fires almost at the ground, basically doing like a reverse rocket jump, but blowing the Raph and Shiv to smithereens. If we see the counter, it goes down to 12. There are now only, according to your count, or to Dog Killer's count, there are now only a dozen Raph and Shiv left in the entirety of Night City. And now my question to all of you. Where do you want to have that showdown?
I mean, if we can lure him off the island, the better.
He's going to be lured off the island. I want to know where. Because if you don't give me anything, they're going straight for the apartment.
Ooh, could it just be a random warehouse just on the edge of the combat zone with that somebody had tagged with a giant middle finger to Dog Killer and just on the roof?
I think the picture that would be sent would be of Justice Mime wearing one of the Raph and Shiv vests and waving from a very prominent landmark area that, if you look at it, everybody would know it's the specific area and say, I don't know, Upper Marina? Did we say that they were congregating there on occasion?
They do congregate in the Upper Marina, yeah. Yeah. What's number 24? Yeah, there's the old ferry that everyone would know where it is because, like, it's an older landmark of Night City. Like, because you don't need the ferry anymore. You have, like, 3 times as many bridges as there used to be. So that could be one of them. Otherwise, near the Upper Marina, there is the Marina Mall. I don't know if you remember that place. The strip mall where White's girlfriend works.
That's a bit presumptuous of you.
We're going to stay away from there.
White's date.
Yeah, okay. White's
No, we know
friend.
that...
Otherwise, there is nearby. Well, it's in the Upper Marina. There's the Afterlife.
Yeah, no, we don't want to bring that down on us. I think the ferry is fine.
And the other one is a place called American Bar. That would also be a landmark.
What kind of place is the American Bar?
American Bar is an over-the-top patriotic establishment that only serves medium to low-quality sandwiches.
Like it.
So, like, what is it in relation to like a TGI Fridays?
Well, I, for one, enjoy TGI Fridays. But I would not enjoy American Bar. No, so basically it's a Korean War themed, imagine a MASH themed restaurant. So like colors of like brown and khakis, American flag, an old like broken down, disused like Jeep, like put up on I don't know, like, scaffolding or something like that in front.
It is the bartender named Radar.
It's a sandwich place, there's no bar. But yes, we'll say that they're all named after... Actually, they're not all named after. I'll go a step further. They've all had surgery. And they all look like the MASH cast. Now Simon likes this place. Please don't blow it up.
It's a poser bar?
It's a poser bar.
You know what's sad is that I'm thinking about this and I'm going, oh, if Trins is going to use napalm, I guess this is a very in theme.
Jesus Christ.
And folks didn't think I could be dark.
I didn't say Vietnam, I said Korean.
You didn't think... You are aware that firebombing existed since World War II, right?
Yeah. And it also...
It's a very tasteless bar.
Yes. But here's the thing. American Bar is on the first floor of this establishment. Because the second floor has, like, painted across the top, a giant tiger that fades and gives way to the stars and stripes. This is a place called the Iron Tiger Dojo. And it's everything you think it is.
This is an affront to God, and I don't even believe in God.
Eagle Fang Dojo from Cobra Kai Season 3.
Well, I mean, the Iron Tiger was created for Cyberpunk in 1994, so I would say Cobra Kai actually stole that idea.
I feel bad that I put this idea now into other dogs.
Mm-hmm. So those are the two landmarks. The ferry, that's right by the waterfront, or the American Bar, which is like about a block away from. In fact, on your map, you will see it. It's number 42. No, 55. Number 55 or number 24. The other places are less well known. Oh no, that's not true. Number 9 could work too. The McCartney Field Stadium. If you wish to have a fight in a football stadium.
Yes!
What McCartney is named after? Is the stadium named after?
Let me check on the wiki.
Because if it's Paul McCartney, then I say no.
McCartney Stadium. Let's see. Oh wow, there's even a map. Jesus. 75,000 seats. Home of the Night City Rangers. It's the best team money could buy. In addition to the Death Dealers, the Night City soccer team. The Slammers, the professional baseball team, also plays there. Otherwise, it's an entertainment venue.
Sounds expensive.
They do not say which McCartney.
Yeah, but it can't be that expensive because it's a grass field and they're playing and they've got both football and baseball in the same stadium.
It's not soccer. I'm sorry. It's combat soccer. It's soccer but the ball is spiked.
Yeah, and there are explosions.
Okay, because I just thought that Death Dealer was kind of an odd name for a soccer team, but combat soccer makes more sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the game is only going to 1 and 0. How much death are you really dealing?
Well, the thing is, in combat soccer, Anino, no one fakes an injury. So, stadium, tacky bar, ferry.
Tacky bar is my vote. You take out 2 birds with 1 stone.
I say the ferry. Should be less people around that could get hurt for no reason.
Agreed.
On one hand, I kind of want to do it in a football stadium and then sell the rights and make shit tons of money because I figured that would help Jimenez's career. But on the other hand, non-combatants getting hurt is a bad thing, so we shouldn't do that.
So we pull them to the ferry.
Very makes my
Yes,
sense.
the ferry makes the most sense.
And if we happen to get travel a bit and end up at the bar, then there's a lot of area.
Yeah, that's cool.
I do like that idea about the football stadium, but unfortunately, that's not a justice mime kind of thing.
All right, so we end up at the ferry. There's a seaside building. Again, disused, abandoned. It's on 3 floors. Each story is smaller than the one underneath it. So it makes sort of a triangle in shape. On the roof of the first floor is a wide balcony where people could just wait. There are still tables there. Most of them have been vandalized, graffitied, burnt, whatever. And of course you've got doors that lead from that balcony to the second story. Otherwise you can go from the main, the first floor, into the rest. There is no power. The lights are out. What little lighting you have comes from streetlights nearby. So it's you don't need any flashlights. You don't need any night vision gear, but it is for sure the darkness is going to help cover. Maybe not the sound of gunfire, but at least maybe who's there from any onlookers. And then of course the windows are all broken. Some of them still have jagged pieces of glass in the frame, but you can easily jump in or out through the windows. There's decent cover. The parking lot is empty. And then, so imagine if the parking lot is here, you would have your building here, and then you would have the piers going out into the water. It's concrete piers, and it's wide enough to let 2 cars drive side by side. So it's like a 2-lane street, if you will. I'll give you a few minutes to prep what you want to do when you get there.
So, knowing him, he'll probably just sit in the AV and, attack us. So, do we got a way to get him out of there?
In theory.
In lots of theories. In theory, White's gonna shut the whole thing down and then we'll control it. That'd be cool. And she's handing out from the RV. She's got 13 bottles of Molotov cocktail.
12.
Oh, 12. 12 bottles of Molotov cocktail. Fine. So Reno gets 6 and Jinx gets 6. Well, they're napalm bombs. It's fine.
Okay. Last resort bombs. All right. Because, yeah, basically we're all on standby until he gets out of there. Because I don't see us doing much damage to the AV.
The first thing I want to do is I want to know if I can hack his communications. I mean, we've tracked them through a number of different people. We know what model of device it is. We know the scrambler codes at its core.
Yeah, I'd say like one of the numerous allies you have could have brought you one of the like radios from one of the raid's like vehicle. So you don't necessarily need to hack into it because you have it, and like you said, you have the codes, you have everything. So you, if you wish to communicate, like there is a channel. I don't know exactly what you want to do with it, but there's a channel. So what were your plans for the communication?
My plan was mostly to taunt him, to try and get him off his game, make him predictable.
It's feasible.
So that's my goal. Because if he resorts to one or some predictable tactics, then it's a lot easier to defend against that. What does the group think, though, before I go that route?
I think it's a good idea.
One of the few plays we can do right now and hope for the best. I'm probably just going to hide out in the top floor of the ferry and pick off any stragglers if I can. But until that AV is open, I'm not going to be much use to anybody.
I need to bunker down in what seems to be the most reasonable place for where they're going to land, so I can try and be within range to hack it as soon as possible. That's where I'd like to set up.
You want to do it from inside the RV?
I don't want to try and rush the RV. No.
No, I mean, do you want to be in our RV as a protected?
I mean, that's possible. Yeah, I could do that. So near the ferry, is there a likely place for this AV to set down?
The parking lot being completely empty, it could set down anywhere in the parking lot. It could also set down on the pier itself, like because it's just like a street that goes into the water. Though with the size of the AV, if it parks itself on the pier, it needs to either be facing the other, like the river, the water, or face the building. He can't really park sideways, which means that the moment he'd open the door, he'd almost fall, like the side doors, he'd almost fall into the water. So that place is unlikely.
So yeah, wherever it seems to make the most sense to stay within range, or to get within range. If you could just park the RV, probably near. So where was the photo taken? Were you in the parking lot? Were you right in front of the ferry? Where did you have the photo taken? Jimenez?
I'll probably say in front of the ferry. I don't think the parking lot would be as landmarky enough.
Gotcha. So, I mean, if there'd be a chance that they would park basically right in front, which would allow them to just open fire on the building, right? In theory. So if the RV's parked basically alongside, probably the rear facing, so that way less glass, more armor out toward the parking lot. Does that make sense to everybody? Because then I can camp out there. And if
Yeah, that
need
makes
be,
sense.
Trins, you want to be in there to drive me closer if I need to?
Closer or farther if you need to get out.
That too.
I support the squishy people being in the battle tank.
Where does everybody else want to be at?
Fairly close range. I don't have a sniper. I do have a long rifle, but I don't have a sniper.
First floor of the ferry, use the building as cover?
Yeah. Yes, they come on.
By the way,
Mhm.
the cover that you have, and I've noted it down in my notes, but if you want to know, it will give you an additional 25 hit points. If you're like, unless someone goes behind your cover, like the cover provides an extra 25 HP. Just so you know.
Sounds good. So that's the building provides another 25 is what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, like if we have to, I'll have a map for the next, the showdown.
Mhm.
But, like, if you're planning out where you're going to be, like, assume that the cover is very good. Against
Jinx?
attacks from the outside.
Where are you going to be?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be where my sniper gun is best. So the optimal range.
That'll mostly depend on where he lands.
Also, but like
But
I'll
if
probably
you're on the third floor, it already helps.
yeah.
Okay.
That's where Jimenez is going to be hiding out on anyway.
Okay.
Will the cover from the first floor, is that within range of what an SMG would be able to hit if he lands in the parking lot? Because that's my only weapon.
Depending on how close he gets, I mean, it's fairly easy to hit up to 25 yards with the SMG. After that, the difficulty bumps from like 15 to 20.
Okay.
But like, assume that he will probably be at first, depending on where he lands. Like, unless he has a sniper rifle, his turrets and everything, their optimal range is just above the one of the SMG. So whereas yours would be 20, his would be the easiest. So unless something changes, such as a taunt, he would probably set himself at exactly 50 yards from all of you.
So by taunting him, where are you trying to get him to head?
I'm trying to make him stop thinking and to just go into attack mode.
Okay. Okay.
Because that would make him reckless, in my opinion.
And I'll stay with Reno behind cover, see if we can, lure him out, get him within shooting range.
Now, based on the layout of that AV, where is...
Entrance, exit?
Unless we're... Well, I mean, that, of course, everybody wants to know where that is. But I'm thinking, like, the spot to start shooting at, to either get to the... probably not the fuel cell, because they usually reinforce that area, but where the oxygen is, because that's flammable. Because if they're not coming out, you can always work on dropping that armor and then causing a problem inside. And if you focus fire on one particular area, you're going to drop the armor a lot faster.
let's assume for a moment that they didn't touch the basic configuration of a Trauma Team AV.
Yeah, that's what I'm going off of.
The oxygen tanks would be about midway, like midway between the front and the back. Normally against one of the two walls, but it doesn't really matter for the purposes of like game mechanics. Because you know, even if it's right up against the, I don't know, the side of the AV that's facing you versus the other side, like it's gonna be the same anyway. You have to go through the plating to get the oxygen tank.
Of course.
But yeah, so long as you can hit the middle of the AV, you're fairly certain you would hit where the oxygen tanks are.
Okay. I would tell them to focus on that because that's probably not going to be extra reinforced and it'll have a chance to do extra damage on the inside.
It is right under the turrets. Like the turrets at the top, like the one that Maddie has. So it's the same thing. It's the
Gotcha.
It would be about the same location.
So, yeah, focus on bringing on causing havoc there if they won't come out.
All right. And then what we're going to see before we end tonight's session is
the taunt.
Well, do you want to have a week to prep it? Do you want to go at it right away?
I'm happy to improv it.
All right, then we'll improv it first.
All right. What do you want from me statistically?
Statistically, it's going to be an intimidation check. Wait, that would be persuasion.
Persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Okay.
But I would also need. I really want to know, like, what do you say?
Oh, of course, and I'll do that first.
And that'll be.
I just wanted to know
his...
statistically what I'm doing.
Yeah. And that's his.
Can I assist on this?
Sure.
Yes. I mean, if you help come up with a speech with Mr. White, even if Mr. White agrees, yes, definitely.
I mean, there are a number of ways I could do it. I could. Is there a visual component to it?
There's no visual. It's just a radio.
Okay. I would probably either use human perception as an assist or conversation, I guess.
Human perception would work better than conversation because conversation is like trying to get something out of them, like information-wise.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Whereas with human perception, you could know like if White says something that pushes his buttons or not.
Yeah, I think that would work.
And send it across the Chiron in order for me to keep pushing. That kind of idea. Is that what we're thinking? Okay. Does that need to be rolled first then?
No, do the speech first, and then we'll do the mechanics.
So, White would get on the radio and make sure there's a live connection. And he'd just start with a dog shit, dog coward, dog killer, whatever the fuck your name is. You and your skinflint coat. Do you realize what kind of shit you started when you brought the fight to my house? I don't give a shit where you come from. I don't care who your vendetta is with. You fucked up when you made it personal. I haven't even unloaded half of the connections that I have to end your little tiny gang. I want you to understand before we end your life just how bad of a decision you made to camp out on an island like a gutless, ballless, I don't even know. What do? We neuter you. We've neutered you already. What you've got? An AV? An AV fully armored, whatever. I've taken those things apart. I know how they work. I'll take yours apart too. Bit by bit, piece by piece. There'll be nothing left of you. I mean, you're second rate anyways. You took over from someone else who ran like a coward when we ran into his people. You should have heard him shaking through the phone when he found out who he fucked with. It's your turn now. Except I don't care if you shake. I don't care if you beg like your people did when I capped them. I'll pluck out your eyeballs and make you watch yourself die.
And he replies, I see that Miss Warden found herself a new daddy. Looks like I'm gonna have to kill that family too.
You've been trying that for weeks. You can't even frickin' win a bar fight with your piece of shit crew. I'm not afraid of you. I've had $1 million hits out on me. Well, $500,000 hits out on me. By full-blown corpse. You're nothing. You're less than nothing. You're the dog shit on my boot that I wipe off when I walk in to my house each day. I don't care what kind of personal vendetta you have, or if you can, upset Miss Warden with this weird obsession you have with that family. You crossed a line because you didn't do your homework. Stupid is as stupid does. And believe me, when you play games like that, you don't win.
He's going to close with, I will wear your face as a jockstrap. And you hear the radio like crack and then spark. Like he broke the receiver on the other hand. But please make your roll, Jimenez. I didn't really need to go any longer with the threats from Mr. White because you push some buttons. 15. All right. What's your rank in human perception? X. Like just rank? Human perception, not the stat that goes with it.
So the level of it?
Yeah, the level.
I believe it's 5.
5? All right. Then that means we'll go with roundup. So White, you're gonna have a +3 to your check.
Okay. And just because this is gonna be fun, I'm gonna burn all 5 of my luck to add to it.
Yeah, because the session's done. But yeah, sure, go ahead.
Well, yeah, but I would have done it if it was the beginning of the session. So I'm gonna add that in now and roll.
Is that including the +3?
Yes. I think, yes.
You've got a 6, an 8, and a D5. D10 that rolled a 5.
Yeah, that's not right. It's missing. It's missing my stat. Should have another 8 in there. So it's a base. It should be 14 plus 8 plus 5. I don't know why I didn't roll correctly because I have a total of total of 14.
Yeah.
As my base. And then I added 5 from luck, 3 from Jimenez. That should be, I put that in miscellaneous for that 8. But it didn't give me any of my cool.
No, it didn't give it. It only rolled your regular persuasion. Because that's what you rolled. Like 5 plus 14 is 19. But yeah, with the bonus from Jimenez, the bonus from your luck.
So That
Yeah,
would be a
and
27.
yeah, he's going to be reckless. That's for sure. And before we end, something else happens. There is a helicopter coming into Night City. We would see the AV fly across the city. Under the AV, 12 motorcycles slash cars racing through the streets. And this helicopter just going, like, placing itself behind the AV, a few ways behind, and from the side, strapped to like a cable, coming back from Atlanta. BPS fires at the two Raffen shivs that are at the back, and they spin out of control. So you're only going to have to fight 10 shivs and Dog Killer next week. That's where we're going to end tonight.
Actually, can I add just one more scene?
Of course.
Really brief. Yeah. So Jimenez is just sitting there on the third floor of the ferry with Jinx, and as he finishes listening to Dog Killer's final words, he's just going to turn to Jinx and say, he's going to wear his skin like a jockstrap on his face. That's just going to look ridiculous. And as he's saying that, Jimenez is going to put on his makeup for Justice Mime.
Jinx is just gonna make a face of what the fuck and ew. God, we gotta get rid of this guy. Jesus. Blah.
Yeah, so next week is season 4 finale. And then we're gonna head into some more after that. But let's just do outros very quickly, because some of us have to jet. But I have a surprise for everyone, because not next week, but the week after, things are gonna happen. So I need to show you all something. So let's go same order as we did the intros. If you have any projects to shout out anywhere that we can find you next week on the internet, please go ahead. We'll start with Mr. Chris Geary.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris Geary. You can find me at Chris Geary on Twitter. You can find me at Chris Geary, or Chris Geary in the chat as well. Tomorrow, actually, I will be on We Are Nerdsmith with some of the Omens Rising crew, as we are playtesting our our encounter mechanics for the third of that series. And then on Monday, I will be over on the Hype Goblins channel with a different crew of playtesters as we continue to playtest a variety of different give and take mechanics, things that are involved in transactions of sorts. And then in July, I'm still working on lining up yet another playtest. August 1st, I will be working with Fae Forged Academy with their podcast, and we will do a special episode or couple of with Omens Rising as well. And then Last World's Archives in August, we'll do a play test. Later in August, we'll start a play test. It'll be a mini campaign where you can kind of see Omens Rising coming together as a whole as we get prepped for beta. Along those lines, part of our prep as we're moving forward is we're going to be also launching a Patreon. So if you're interested in supporting the project as we're gearing up toward crowdfunding, and you want to get more behind the scenes information, you want to see concept art, not just finished art. You want to know bits and pieces about the lore as we develop. You want to be able to participate in polls that might help shape and guide things as we make decisions. Watch out for that at Omens Rising, and join our Patreon. For those people who want to invest a little bit more cash, there will be even things where you can get monthly polls or monthly spreads done for your OCs, and even a tier where you can get one-on-one demos each month with one of our developers, where you get to see the game in its progress and from from the source. So check that out when it launches. But that's what I've got going on right now. A few more things in the works, but nothing solid. So pass it on to whoever's next. Is it Adelaide?
Adelaide is next, yes.
Yeah, I am super excited. I am also in Fate Forge Academy, so I am thrilled to be playing with Chris again very soon. Speaking of Fate Forge Academy, we had an episode that released today. We are going on a pretty short break over this upcoming month, but I think we have 1 or 2 more episodes to release before we get back to recording. I am in this show. I am in Fate Forge. I am in Lionhead Gaming's Thylea game, which is Greek inspired. That's on Sunday evenings. I am in Detroit next week, so I am missing all of that. But that's what I've got going on. And check me out on Adelaide on Twitter.
Jinx, you're next.
Hey, I'm Ren. Well, you can find me here or in Malifaux. That's about it. Now, yeah, so I'm in Malifaux. I'm playing Morgan. And if you want to read a story of a bit of background on her, you can go to my website with my fanfics on it, and I'll post it in the chat. Otherwise, yeah, find me here for when I play Crazy Ass Jinx, and that's it. Yeah.
Deirdre.
Hey all, I love you all. It was so great. I missed you. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this crazy shenanigan of attacks that will happen. But as for me, hey all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre Donlan on Twitter and Praxagorth Thesmiophorias. See me around here on Twitch. And you can join me on my channel Sunday night for another of our solo episodes of Romance of the Blue Rose, as we look at Cecilia's backstory. And I'm just going to say that, you know, perhaps a tissue warning might be involved, just based on conversations that have been going on in the backstage. Tissue warnings might be there.
Oh, I heard shoehorning. I was like, what?
Tissue.
Yes.
Like
okay.
Kleenex.
Yes, no, that's okay. Yeah. I missed the T. That's why.
Yeah, you might need a handkerchief. It's fine. You get a little verklempt. And then on Wednesday, we're back on my channel at 8 o'clock for the penultimate episode of Starblade Battalion Memories, our short campaign of Mechton. They're crashing a wedding. Literally. And we'll see what happens next. But other than that, check my Twitter because I always post where I'm going to be, all the fine, wonderful folks that I get to hang out with, like these fine people. And I'll see you next time.
Hannah, you're next.
Hello, I am Hannah. You can find me at Hanimation Art on Twitter, Hanimation Studios on Instagram and Facebook, and you can find Hanimation Studios live at MetroCon July 23rd through the 25th. In case you're going, be sure to stop by and say hi. You can find me doing games like these here on this gorgeous channel. Catch myself and, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern here, playing some Scion. You know, let's get right back into the game where we left off. It's gonna be just as tough as tonight, but it's gonna be a good sort of tough. And then, of course, every Thursday, 8:30 p.m., this channel, myself and Anino playing some Sentinels, and then, you know, Fridays for Cyberpunk. All good stuff.
And last but certainly not least, Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. As Anna mentioned, I will be here tomorrow at 1 p.m. for Scion. And then, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, but at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the other Duck channel, we're starting up Invisible Sun again, where I play Hack the Musk. I'm sorry, that's Mac the Husk, who is a Goetic and has a lot of spirit friends. And, well, he doesn't have any idea of who he was before he came back to Saturnine. So we're all going to find that out together. Tune in for that at 8 p.m. And then, yeah, I guess I'll be doing some pop-up streams here and there for either keyboard building or some Final Fantasy 14. So.
And you can find me tomorrow, 1 p.m. for Scion. Then on Monday, back on our Icewind Dale bullshit, where we are going to finally meet one of our players' boyfriend who was in jail. They're springing him out. Then on Wednesday, we're going to be playing Malifaux. Thursday, Sentinels of the Multiverse. And I forgot something. We're not playing Cyberpunk next week. One, because we're going to be missing someone for the big fight, but also because I forgot it's a national holiday here. So there's probably going to be a lot of loud noises all around my place. So we're going to skip, but on July 2nd, which is a federal holiday, but we don't give a shit, we're going to play our finale, and then keep on going from there. So just a quick correction. So the video, the footage that we're about to show players, if you want to head on to Twitch, this is a video that will be found between season 4 and 5. So I'm leaving you with that. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you again, Chris, for helming the channel while I was away. And thank you everyone for being so patient and coming back in droves after these 3 weeks. So leaving you on that video, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
This is Gordon Blackwood reporting for BBC World News. I'm at an undisclosed location about 30 miles outside of Night City, California. I'm currently embedded with a pack of nomads who've asked not to be identified. In the conflicts between megacorps, it is often people like these existing on the fringes of society who must pay the price. Most have a simple decision to make: hire on as mercenaries with one side or another in the conflict, or stay in the middle and risk being caught up in the thresher of corporate progress. The people I am with have thus far managed to avoid notice, but it may only be a matter of time before they too must face a corporate army. Within the next few days, they will bring me to meet with the forces of a local warlord who has intel about... What? Oh, you're killing me, Percy. What now? Which other report? What, that early draft? That's what they want? It's just going over stuff we've already said about 100 times now. That's why I cut it. You sure? Blimey, Sheridan isn't off up his own ass with these glorious narratives. He does know we're not an empire anymore, right? Well, who was it then? Oh, it wasn't Benedict Bloody Sinclair, was it? The hell is he doing poking his nose in? He wants to spin a story on a corporate war. He can bloody well get out in the field and do it himself. Christ, it's not enough he's shagging Alice. He's got to come after my job too. Wouldn't last 5 minutes out here. Oh, you didn't know. Oh, well, let me tell you this lovely tidbit. We've been here, what, 2 months? Oh, yeah, well, 5 days ago I got a message from Alice telling me she'd been seeing Sinclair behind my back for the last year. I mean, it wasn't that big a surprise. We'd been on the outs ever since I got back home and had to turn right around to go back out for that Chicago rebuilding piece, you remember? I figured she was seeing somebody else. I just didn't know it was him. Shh, weasel. She said she waited till I was halfway around the world, because she was worried what I was going to do when I found out. I don't know, do I strike you as a confrontational man, Percy? Yeah, there's going to be a nice conversation when we get back. Alright, well, we may as well give him his last request. But we're going to get all this straightened out with Sheridan. Sinclair can have main desk if he wants it. I don't even know why my name was in the hat for that in the first place. Oh, but these pieces, they belong to us. They're too important, yeah? Yeah. Okay, let's go. You got the draft? Oh, don't fret me, old son. I'll fill in the gaps. We'll take it after the corporate army bit, yeah? You got some good B-roll yesterday. We can cover with that. Okay. Many who are trapped in the middle are just the latest victims of the ongoing war between the two megacorps, Arasaka and Militech. The corporate armies even now are fighting in cities around the globe, but a good deal of focus has fallen of late on Night City. Our sources, some of whom are ex-corporate intelligence operatives, believe it to be a key battleground in the conflict. The gathering of intelligence has been a priority for both sides these days, when the world's most valuable data is held by a select few, and proprietary information comes at a premium. In a world so thoroughly shaped by corporate espionage, the information broker is king. Which is why we are here. Within the next few days, we will meet with one such king, a local warlord, who we believe has intel about moves that are being made even now to... Do you hear that? Oi, do you hear that? What's going on? Can you see the city from here? What? It's a nuke. It's gotta be a nuke. Someone has just dropped a nuke on Night City. Come on, we've got to move, now!